Do I look better with a filter?
Oh! It is the soil that knows when the baby mouse is sick.
What's the case with Massey Ferg? Power, passion, feel the surge. Plowing fields and baling hay. Like machines lead the way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What's the Case with Massey Ferguson. As you can see, my co-host here, Nardu, is not available again. He's out there in the field. So, Nardu, what do you have to say for yourself?
Hey Ryan, very, very sorry for missing this episode.
There you go, you've heard it. So, what we have today is an episode about filters. So, having a look here, we can see an air filter, fuel filters, and oil filter, and I don't know what this thing is. Anyway. Gotta love that high production value TV shows. Anyway, so yeah, today we've got a very special guest in here. Someone who knows more about filters than what I or Nardu would. Let me go and fetch him. Cleverson! Cleverson!
Massey gets it done again.
Welcome, Cleverson. Let's just first get rid of this. It's not very good conversation. Anyway, there you go, director.
Hey Ryan, you looking for me?
Get in here. How's it? Welcome, Cleverson.
I'm good, thanks. Ryan and filters, interesting.
Filters, this is the name of your game, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We love filters. They do a very good job for our machines.
So, Cleverson, this is your first time on the show. What's the Case with Massey Ferguson is all about case studies and agricultural related items, and we look at where Massey Ferguson fits in the world of agricultural and especially Africa related content. So yeah, as you can see, we've got quite a few filters here on the set, and we couldn't think of anyone better than you. If you could introduce yourself to the audience, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, as Ryan has introduced, my name is Cleverson. I'm working for Agro Corporation as an after-sales commercial manager based at our Johannesburg offices, where we also keep our parts, the parts warehouse is located.
Yeah, and the main word in Cleverson's name is obviously clever. So we've got Mr. Cleverson here today. And yeah, this is a bit of a light, fun episode for a change. We're doing it in English. You hear that, Nardu? We've got an English show for a change, and maybe that's why he skipped this one, to be honest. But let's get into it. If you like this kind of show, if you're into What's the Case with Massey Ferguson, do hit like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications, and leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. There's also a whole season or series of these episodes for you to enjoy. So yeah, let's get into it. Cleverson, you're the filter man, or in fact you're the after sales man. And so let's do a quick little run through. Let's test your knowledge. Let's see. We've got a few clips here on the screen of various filters. Let's start playing the first clip over there. It looks like we have some kind of filter that sits in a cartridge. It looks like an engine oil filter. What do you see there?
Wow. I think for the engine, there's a lot of sludging that is happening. That thing has way extended its service life. It should have been changed ages ago. And wow. Not good.
Yeah, so that engine oil has turned very black and very thick. Yeah. It's almost like a sludgy-like material, and that oil has obviously experienced a lot of temperature, a lot of carbon buildup, all that exhaust smokes and little bits of, charcoal or whatever is getting in there. It's getting stuck in, and from where I'm sitting, this filter looks completely clogged. It's not breathing very well. There's nothing really flowing through this thing.
I don't think it's anymore a filter, that thing. If I look at it, it's...
It's like a blocked sponge.
Yeah.
It looks almost like a licorice. You could just lick it, eh? What do you think?
No, I don't want to touch that. I would want my hands on that.
All right, cool. So oil filter, pretty disgusting. Let's have a look at our next filter. What have we got here, Cleverson? It looks like some kind of air cleaner.
Yeah, that's an air cleaner, and wow, that's a lot of dust. And even this air filter as well, it's clogged, Ryan. It's clogged. I don't think there's any more filtration that's happening with this thing. It should have been changed again ages ago. Importance of service intervals. It's important that we stick to this. But I would like to believe even on the machine, there should be a service warning light that would warn the operator to indicate that this thing is due for a change.
Yeah, I mean, this guy opens the air cleaning housing or the air cleaner housing, and there's almost like, I don't know, a mug, maybe 3 mugs, coffee mugs of just pure dirt inside the housing. He then removes this filter. It looks like a little clay brick, actually. It's so covered in dirt. He drops it on the floor from what looks like a couple of meters, and it just explodes like a smoke grenade.
Yeah, speaking of air filters, air filters play a very important role on the engines. It's actually the first line of defense within the engine.
Yeah.
You don't want any dust to go inside the engine, because the moment you've got dust getting inside, it's increasing the wear and tear that is happening, and sooner or later the engine is going to lose compression, and that engine is not going to be able to perform its duty, and it will need an engine overhaul, which is way more expensive than just changing an air filter. And I think that engine will be going for an overhaul from what I see there.
That's like the lungs of the tractor or the lungs of the engine, and it's about clean air. And you were talking about a warning light. Modern tractors, modern machinery do tend to give you a bit of a pre-warning, but Miskeen, maybe in this older type of machines, you would have felt it in performance. There would have been an increase in fuel economy. You would have seen maybe a lack of power, maybe some exhaust smoke. There would have been other clues before it gets this far.
Yeah, what happens, Ryan, is that as you're operating the machine, if you don't feel it's got the power anymore, the natural instinct is that you increase your foot into the tank.
So you just apply more
and
more
then
throttle.
as the fuel consumption is increasing, due to something that could have been avoided, probably maybe by sticking to those service intervals, there is a reason why you need to change it.
All right, cool. Let's look at our third clip. This looks to be a dirty fuel filter. That's pretty disgusting. I mean, if you think about it, what color is fuel usually? It's a light yellow or clear liquid. Look at that stuff.
It's so dirty. And, when you're speaking about the fuel system, my heart bleeds. I feel for the injectors. I feel for the injector pump. And you know how costly those things are. Without filters protecting those components, it means, the bill is not going to be good for the farmer. The cost of ownership, again, on something that we could prevent by using the correct, genuine filters.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this also has a big component, not only to the quality of your injection system. So a dirty fuel system will ultimately wear out your pumps, your injector nozzles, but it also has an effect on your spray pattern, in the combustion chamber. And so in terms of burning fuel efficiently, this will have probably also an impact on power as well as fuel economy at the end of the day. So maintaining these systems, like you said, sticking to the routine schedule has a long-term effect, not only on maintenance costs and cost of ownership, but also on the performance of the machine or engine itself.
You're quite right, Ryan, from what you're saying. I remember years ago, our engineering team from Beauvais sent a machine to Zambia at the Future Farm to test it. I remember that machine, as much as it was just a basic machine, it was fitted with a telemetry unit where the engineering team could be able to monitor what's happening with that machine. Broken components will be taken back to the factory so that they could be checked and continuous improvement could happen. So what I'm trying to say here, Ryan, is that probably when we come up with these service intervals, we're not just thumb-sucking on the hours, maybe just to suit a cost of ownership narrative, but this is something that would have been tested in the field, and our filters would have proven to last a particular service intervals. And you only get this when you are using genuine filters. When we say 500 hours, it's something that we have tested. It's something that we know that is going to give you that protection for that how long. And there's a lot of research and development that is happening behind the scenes before we come up with the service intervals that we do recommend, before we come up with the correct filter that is used in the machine. So, I wouldn't use anything else that is not genuine on my machine.
I'm also a big fan of genuine components. I myself I like seeing the OEM logo, just the logo on the filter itself. In my cars, I lift up the bonnet and I have a look and I see, either the Toyota badge or whatever badge there might be on the car, on the engine, and it gives me a little bit more peace of mind. So yeah, let's look at our final clip. This looks to be some kind of hydraulic. Now, my car doesn't run on hydraulic filters, but let's have a look here. What is that? Oh my goodness!
That's dirty oil
Very
flowing
dirty.
directly into the transmission. I feel for that transmission. It's very important that we understand what is the role of filters within the transmission system. So filters are there to remove those wearing components. As gears are mentioned
Jeez,
in
look at that metal filing. That's transmission's actually gone now, right?
As gears are working in the transmission, there's wear and tear that is happening. Those components needs to be removed from the oil. Otherwise, if we keep it in between the gears, it creates like a grinding paste.
Yeah.
And this leads to premature wear and tear of your transmission, and you not be able to get the correct torque that you do desire from the machine. And eventually, unfortunately, the whole transmission will need to be overhauled.
Yeah, I must say a certain degree of metal filings is quite natural in a transmission. Some vehicles have little magnets in them or filtration systems that remove that extra contaminant. But if left too long, you'll end up having too much of these filings. They end up, like you said, becoming like a grinding paste,
Yes,
and they sand down the excess gears or the gears themselves, the teeth. And that just ends up creating like a runaway effect or a snowball, where just more filings get added and more grinding paste is applied, and eventually you end up losing your entire transmission. So that filter replacement is paramount to maintaining your transmission, your engine, your air cleaner, your fuel systems. All these systems need this regular maintenance. And I'm glad you brought up the genuine versus pirate point, because that's kind of what this episode is all about. It all started with a bit of a meme. My girlfriend told me I would look better on camera if we used filters. And so, Liffy, if you're watching this, do I look better with a filter?
Yeah. I like that one, Ryan. I've also got a story to share. You like telling stories. I enjoy that one, and I want to tell you, probably maybe there's an African idiom or an African proverb which says that it is the soil that knows when the baby mouse is sick.
Could you explain that idiom to us? What is the meaning behind that?
So basically what this means is that it is within the environment in which something is born and bred that better understand the best performances of that particular component. The day a baby mouse is sick, the soul will know that this thing is not moving. And the same is also true when you speak about these genuine filters or genuine parts. It is within the original equipment manufacturers, ACO and Massey Ferguson, that better understand what the machine is supposed, that better understand what the component is supposed to be doing. Ryan, the problem defines the solution. And what I mean by that, from an OEM perspective, we don't want unfiltered oil going through the transmission. We don't want unfiltered oil going through the high tolerance hydraulic components. So our filters are designed to prevent this from happening. Whereas when you look at maybe from an when you look at it from a counterfeit perspective, they are not designed to perform this function, but they are designed to copy the original equipment manufacturers. So the problem is not correctly defined in those cases. It's designed to copy. It's designed to deceive the customers into believe that the counterfeit components can also be able to fulfill the same function as the genuine parts, which is never the case. A counterfeit can never be able to do the same job as an original part. And that's, I feel for our machines, that that ever have to be fitted with these counterfeit components.
Yeah, I must say, I hear it all the time out in the field when you speak to farmers or users of our products all the time. They often refer to the dealership as the stealership. And the stealership is because they compare the price of a genuine part with the likes of an aftermarket filter or any other component for that matter. And they often use terms like they come out of the same factory, it's all the same part, it just has a different sticker job on it. Or they often think that there's a markup just because of the fact that it's a genuine. So some reason, because it has this triangle on it, it gets a little bit more expensive, like the paint we use or whatever the joke may be. But the best one I've heard so far is I often were asked, why is it so expensive? Is there gold or something inside your filter? And looking at this filter, we wonder ourselves sometimes, is there perhaps like a mineral in there that's worth a lot of money? And that's kind of what today's episode is all about. We're gonna do that comparison today. And how we're gonna do it is we're actually gonna do a little bit of science. Are you keen for a bit of science?
Yeah, I'm into that. In for that.
And I don't know, have you watched any of our previous episodes before?
Yeah, I enjoy. I'm always watching it and following what's happening. Looking forward to each and every episode that comes along.
Now, for those of you, if this is your first episode or you're a big fan, you would know about the What's the Case with Massey Ferguson TV magic. And it's just to cut things along nice and fast and hopefully make the show as entertaining as possible. If you like the TV magic, leave us a comment, hit the like button, tell us what you think of it. But yeah, so it's pretty simple. All you have to do is hold up your hands. So we need some safety equipment, of course. We can't do any science and not look like scientists, right?
Yeah, we gotta be safe, Ryan.
We've got to do
be
it.
safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hold up your hands, and at the count of three, I'd like you to clap.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
Wow.
So now that we are all scientific looking, we're gonna do a bit of science. So now, Cleverson, today with the science outfits and our scientific brains, we're gonna compare genuine versus pirate. Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, let's go for that. Probably maybe let's remove all these other things and then we can do the oil filter.
All right. Yeah, I like the idea of the oil filter because that's quite common and everyone can compare those. So on the table here we have a genuine AGCO parts oil filter, and you said we're going to compare this today with a
pirate or counterfeit
aftermarket. Let's have a look.
This thing, yeah. Wanna have a look at it?
So if we put the two filters right next to one another, they look almost identical, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Like I said before, Ryan, that counterfeit components are designed to copy the original component. But what's lacking, what is not inside are the tolerances for which it is supposed to do. So this is just designed to look the same, but when it comes on to fulfillment or function, it is not able to do the job. And yeah, I'm thinking of those images that we're looking at the beginning. These things could be some of the culprits.
Yeah, from my point of view, I can see that the AGCO is a little bit more brilliant white. It matches my lab coat a little bit better. And I'm also a fan of the markings here at the bottom. So you get a little bit more grip when you apply a filter wrench, whereas the aftermarket one is quite smooth. So I can already tell you from where I'm sitting, this isn't exactly the same factory.
Yeah, maybe going on to the point that you just mentioned, when these components are also designed, we think of the technicians, the ease of fitting it on the components is something that you just want to grip with your hand to create that free action. Whereas with this one, it's going to be hard to grip in position and leakages.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing service work, your hand's always got a little bit of oil on it, or it's always got a bit of slip. And so I like the fact that this is designed in this way. Adding these little finger grooves and grip texturing, it does add a little bit of cost there. So I would already see that I would expect the genuine filter to be slightly more expensive just in principle on how it's been designed. But you mentioned the insides are not the same either.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do exactly today, Ryan. Would like to open this counterfeit.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because, oh my goodness, because I actually brought along a grinder. So no.
Where did you get that, Ryan?
I have it always. I always carry this around with me wherever I go.
Let's use this one probably a proper
that
tool.
looks a little bit more scientific, I would say.
Do you wanna help me?
I guess I don't need these anymore. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this that you've brought along?
So this is a filter opener. You know, from time to time when you want to investigate if there are problems that has happened, maybe from a preventative maintenance aspect, that's what this is for. So we're going to use this for cutting open this counterfeit or fake filter.
So let's have a look at this. So this is effectively, this we got from our training facility in Kestel. So all our techies, they come out and do technical training, and this is basically a giant can opener. So it grips into the filter at the bottom there, and then there's two circular blades that'll slice this thing open. Is that right?
Yeah, you wanna try it?
Let's give it a go.
Yep.
So I'll put it on the table here. We'll. Oh wait, I wanted to actually note. I noticed something before we destroy this poor thing. Massey Ferguson is famous for its extended service intervals. So like the Global Series, 500-hour service interval, high horsepower machines are 400-hour service intervals, and there's even some of our products that are now reaching 600-hour service intervals. And I noticed on this filter here we've got a 250. So that's also something that's worth considering is like you mentioned, that regular replacements of the filter. This filter would require replacement at every 500 hours, and this one is at every 250 hours. So we are expecting to see quite a
difference. You know, the filtration capacity of a filter is defined by the length of the paper element that is inside. So when they're saying 250 hours, I think probably what would expect when you open this thing is that there's going to be a shorter element. And with that shorter element, what it means is that it's going to be clogged much earlier. And therefore, as much as you may have paid only 150 Rand when purchasing this fuel filter, you need to change it twice. So 150 plus 150, that's 300. And then you look at the price of the genuine Aqua filter, you're paying 200. Yes, there's a 50 Rand difference at the beginning, but that one lasts longer.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, the element inside is if you were to think of it like almost like a filter coffee or those filter bags that you often see when you make coffees and stuff. If you were to take the filter paper inside of this filter and spread it out, you're saying that the genuine filter will have a larger surface area than what you'd find in the Pirate.
That is most of the time that is the case, but it's not just about the length only, it's about the paper quality that is also used and the consistency of the pore size that you find within your filtration element. By the way, filters are rated in microns, and when we say maybe this is a 5-micron filter, what it means is that basically any component that is bigger than 5 microns will not be able to pass through. But what you also find in these counterfeit components is that they don't use a high quality paper element, and you have circumstances where probably maybe as much as it may be rated as 5 microns, you may have bigger items being able to pass through. And the moment you've got bigger components passing through than what is designed, it means it's going to go on and increase that wear and tear of your high tolerance hydraulic components.
Yeah, and then it just stops filtering. All right, let's cut it open. There we go. Lids off. All right.
Oh.
And to save you guys time at home, we'll just cut to cutting this one open. And there you go. We've got an echo filter cut open already.
Okay, we just want to compare these two filters. One thing that I don't like already from what I'm seeing there is,
Oh yes,
look,
I can almost see the difference. Oh, we have a little hole on the echo filter,
so
but there's no hole on this filter.
it's not it's a bypass valve.
A bypass
Just
valve.
press it a bit. You see, it feels like there's a spring inside.
Look at that. Interesting. So there's our first major difference. Is
Do you know what a bypass valve does in a filter?
tell us a little bit more.
So basically, what a bypass does is that when the filter is working, at cold starting in the morning when the oil is thick, you would want a situation whereby the oil can be able to pass. When the pressure is high, it's going to compress the spring and the oil can be able to bypass and go into the engine, because it is better for an engine to run with some oil, with dirty oil, than to have no oil at
Yeah,
all.
because if you starve the motor basically overheats and you end up buying
So
a
you
whole
think
new
maybe
engine.
on a cold day, this thing will start the engine, and without the bypass.
Yeah, and I think it's like you mentioned, it's not just dirty oil. It's in the mornings when it's really cold. Then you've got thick
Oil.
not oil that's not very viscous, and so just in the morning you need that bit of free flow just to get all that oil in all those places. So this is quite telling, eh?
Yeah, and we don't have that. So I wonder if the engine is going to last maybe without this over time. You know, as much as it may be just at starting, as we spoke about, how many times do you start the engine and turn it off? So with this one, it doesn't have that feature to do the bypass feature. And even in those instances when the filter is clogged, without a bypass, it means probably we're also going to starve the engine, and probably that engine is going to seize. So it's a very important
Yeah,
component.
and I mean,
that is,
we don't freeze over here in Africa, but we're very arid, so we've got cold nights, cold mornings, even in the winter and the summer. So that little bit of extra protection. You said there's about $100 difference here,
it's,
100 rands. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's
worth it already for me. I'm sold.
and the other thing that I may want to bring to your attention is, well, if you look at the Arco genuine filter, look at here, at this 2 point here, we've got a metal seam where these two paper elements come together. And can you find anything here?
So the aftermarket filter has got no.
Metal
Metal
seam.
seam.
It's probably just glued.
Yeah, it's like probably running. It's probably it's glued in. Yeah, that's right. Definitely glued in. I can tell.
And as the pressure increases, that thing may come open, and you've got a situation where you've got unfiltered oil going into your engine. So, not good.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So we've also got on the screen here, you were describing the bypass filter in action. For those of you who are driving or who are only looking at the screen now, we can see that the filter sort of does its job. It's going through this paper element and meeting in the middle. But as the filter ages out or as the oil gets thicker, it sort of doesn't go through that filter anymore. And that's where that bypass valve is in the middle at the back. It does at least allow, if not all of it, at least some of it through. So that's exactly the safety mechanism. So like you said, we can always do an oil change, and that's an afternoon's work. How long does it take to replace an engine or to overhaul an engine? So the protection mechanism is there, which I think is great, which we do not find
within
on
the counterfeit filter.
That's fascinating. That's really interesting.
And we also want to look maybe on the side here.
All right.
Okay, so we also have got this component. I just want to compare it with the Arco genuine. So basically, what this does, it's
Got a bit of a weight to this ring. Eh?
this is a leak-off valve,
Yeah.
and you know what a leak-off valve does, Ryan?
Just prevents it from sort of, damming up and creating sort of like a mess over time where, grime and gunk can get stuck in. Am I wrong, or could you please explain that to us?
So basically, when you look at a filter, the way it is fitted on an engine, it can either be fitted in this in a horizontal position, in a vertical position, or in sideways. And at the point that you do switch off the engine, basically the function of this liquor valve is to prevent the oil that is inside the engine from draining back into the sump.
Yeah, so the moment the engine pressure switches off, the little rubber just closes off the holes and prevents,
keeps the oil that is inside. Again, for that moment when you're starting the engine,
if I had to explain it, it's kind of like if the engine switches off, the pressure stops, and then it keeps the oil in the filter. It doesn't drain down to the bottom and have to fill itself up every time. That's okay. I gotcha.
And this is very important again. It means at that point, if you trap some oil which is still inside the engine, when we start the engine, we still have got some lubrication that is inside. Whereas if all the oil had drained back, then it means that the engine was going to run dry, and this will potentially have got long-term effects of the engine even
the oil pump would have had to basically pump it all up again right throughout the engine circuit, and that little rubber that you're holding up there is the magic trick.
And so this thing is, and remember when the engine is working properly, it reaches up to more than 2,000 degrees Celsius. And most likely that's the temperature at which your oil is also going to be running. So this rubber must be able to withstand that heat. And when I look at this,
run up like 100 degrees and then they cool down again. And then so it's that hot, cold every day that this rubber needs to withstand.
And when you look at this thing here, when I squeeze it,
beep that out. This is a 150 rand filter here. We can't mess it up any more than we do. Yeah?
And look at the genuine non-return. If you squeeze it, it's able to spring back to its original shape. And I would like to even imagine that this thing, even during operation, even under those high temperatures, it maintains its shape and it keeps on trapping the oil inside. Whereas that thing, I doubt it even lasts a hundred hours.
Let's see. We'll do. Hopefully, it doesn't jump out of my hands. So I'm crunching both little rubbers. The genuine one is in my right hand, your left, and the opposite is that. So we'll open them together and we'll see. Look at that one. It's pretty much stuck in a position. And this one. So the genuine is definitely a lot flatter. And for those who are watching, on these filters you've got these little holes on the rings, and what this rubber is meant to do is just kind of close off those holes at the back on the filter to prevent unnecessary drainage when the engine isn't running.
Yes,
or
that's
let's
correct.
not say drainage, rather, that the oil doesn't just sink to the bottom of the sump all the time, but there's at least
some
a
oil which we maintain, which is inside. Yeah.
And so, apart from just the pressure valve, the pressure relief valve, this little grommet or rubber seal is just as important.
Yeah, a liquor valve.
Liquor valve, yeah. And so that's another clear difference we can see. Hopefully you guys can pick that up on the camera. So be sure not to mess around with these either. This can cost you your engine, this little rubber liquor valve. Fascinating.
Massey
correct.
gets it done again.
Wow, Clever. So that was so insightful. I wasn't actually expecting to see so many physical changes, or differences rather, between a genuine ACO filter and a typical aftermarket filter you find at any old parts counter. On top of that, we also gain quite a service interval with Massey Ferguson, and you can now clearly see why our filters are built for the longer haul, right?
Yeah, you're right there, Ryan. What matters is what's inside, not how it looks outside. Because from the beginning, like we said, what's outside is designed to deceive the customers into believing it can do the job. But it is what is inside that can do the job. And we could see the difference between a genuine filter and a counterfeit filter.
Yeah, so that's also very insightful. Although Massey Ferguson markets extended intervals, like on the Global Series, we have 500 hours. It's 500 hours if you use the genuine filter, right? If you switch to a cheaper aftermarket filter, you can expect your service interval to drop. And I think that also has an impact on warranty.
Yeah, that's true. And filtration is only one element of the equation. Probably when it comes on to the correct operation of the engine, it's also important that maybe I just want to show you probably the importance of using the correct lubricants within your engine. Because with modern day engines, probably we've got engines that are now with common rails, they are operating at very high temperatures. You need an engine oil that is able to withstand those high temperatures. And you also need an engine oil that has got the correct additives inside to give you, which has got the correct anti-wear additives inside the oil. It's got the correct anti-foaming additives inside the oil. And one of the most important things when you speak about oil that is really important is that people sometimes speak of specifications to say so long it meets a certain specification, then it's good to go. But that is not always the case. With the Arco genuine lubricants or the Massey Ferguson genuine lubricants, these have been tested and formulated in collaboration with Arco Engineering. And these would also have been tested to last the service intervals that we're speaking about. So when you speak about, when you do mention...
Yeah, we often say that in the marketing team, especially when it comes to our engines, we have Acco Power motors. And when it comes to an Acco Power motor, it's an engine that we make for our own product.
Right.
And we like to use the slogan, for Acco, by Acco. And it's the same. The same applies to our filters. We make the engine, we make the tractor, and we make the filter for that tractor. And we stand behind that product. We stand behind it with a warranty. And on top of that, the filters also come with a 12-month warranty. And I like that idea of genuine lubricants, right? If you use the genuine filter, the Acco approved lubricant or the Acco branded lubricants, I mean, you only have to go to one place. You only have to go to your friendly local Massey Ferguson dealership if you have any kind of problem. So not only do you get your parts from there, if anything goes wrong, I mean, you hold them accountable. Like our parts, our machinery, everything comes with a warranty. And that's how we get there, is by knowing what we ultimately put in our engines.
And what matters with lubricants is when you look at, I spoke about the amount of additives that are inside. Most of the oils at 0 hours before the oil has been put into the engine, yes, it will meet a certain specification, but the question is, after 200 hours, do you still have enough additives to protect your engine? At 300 hours, do you still have enough additives to protect the engine? At 500 hours, do you still have enough additives? But what I can tell you is with the Arco genuine lubricants, this has been tested and we can prove that it still gives you the protection up until those service intervals that is prescribed, because we have tested it in the field and we know that it's going to give you that protection for the engine to keep on performing at its optimum performance.
Yeah, so you end up paying perhaps a small premium in the beginning. Like you walk up to that counter, you've got to fork out a little bit more money when it comes to the filter, when it comes to the lubricants. But if you break that cost down per hour, so you get 500 hours out of this filter, you get 500 hours out of that oil, and compare that then to a 250 interval, I mean, you ultimately get more bang for your buck. And I wonder if you did the math, you would ultimately probably save a little bit of money by investing in apart from the peace of mind. I think there's even a financial saving into keeping it original,
Yeah, and then the long term, probably as we're discussing, probably those other components, if you ever use those, they don't give the protection to the engine. And sooner or later, like you said, probably you have to end up having to be doing expensive repairs, maybe overhauling the whole engine, which will cost way more than just changing the filters and changing the lubricants.
Yeah, and you see it often. You see like an engine or a machine that's just running for decades. And everyone thinks that was just a lucky build or that was just a lucky farmer. It's probably got a lot more to do with the components and the lubricants that were used throughout the lifetime of that machine.
And one thing that I can also mention, Ryan, is that because we are so confident about the specifications of the Arco genuine parts, As a manufacturer, we're happy to extend warranty to our customers when you are using the Arco genuine parts, the Arco genuine lubricants. And most importantly, also, if you're working with the accredited dealer that has got the technicians that has attended training at our training centers to be able to fully understand the machine, as a manufacturer, we're happy to extend the warranty. But if you use counterfeit parts, then you risk losing the warranty.
Yeah, that's a great point you make. We talk about the genuine part, the genuine lubricant, but it's also important that you use a genuine authorized technician. The pirate or the independent technician out there is obviously a little bit cheaper, but he doesn't get to go on the latest and greatest technical courses. He also doesn't have the latest advanced tooling and all the know-hows and the techniques and all of those things. And that goes a long way because I guess anyone could change the filter, but do you know about the tolerances? Do you know about the settings? Do you know about all the little calibrations that need to be done while changing the oil filter? If you don't do those additional little steps that our authorized technicians do for the farmers and unfortunately do charge for as well, that also has a long-term effect on your ownership experience. So keep it real, keep it original, and maintain your warranty at the end of the day, right?
I like the point that you've brought up about calibrations, Ryan. If I take you back to the early days when you're working on tractors, maybe with mechanical clutches, I think one of the things that you'd emphasize when you're doing the machine installation is about checking the clutch.
Setting the clutch.
Setting the clutch. And now with machines, with modern day machines that are coming with wet clutches, have you ever wondered what's happening? There's still wear and tear that is happening on those clutch packs. So the question is, how do you compensate?
Forever, right?
How do you compensate for that wear and tear? So this is where calibration comes in. So by working through an accredited dealer that comes with the electronic diagnostic tool, they are able to perform the relevant calibrations on the machine, which ensures that we compensate for that play that is resulting from the wear and tear that is happening on the machine. So it's important that we do work with It's important that we work with maybe mechanics that have been trained, with mechanics that are working with the correct special tools, because at the training center, they would have been pointed out on all the components that needs to be serviced, and they have the diagnostics tool to do the job as well.
That was awesome. Cleverson, this was a killer episode so far. The last big benefit, of course, I would say, when it comes to having extended service intervals, is the cost and the disposal factor. Where do you think all these metals and old oils end up at the end of the day? Like, I think if I've often been to any old workshop or any old shed for that matter, there's always a corner of dirty old oil filters and dirty old oil cans, and I think that has a negative impact on the environment as well. Can you take us through about roughly where does all this stuff end up at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think we've got an obligation to make sure that probably we keep this environment safe. So it is important when it comes onto the used oil, that needs to be taken to your accredited dealer. They know the reclamation process where it can be correctly disposed. What we don't want is for the oil to be disposed into the environment. We don't want the oil where the filters with oil, dirty oil inside, to also be disposed into the environment, because at the end of the day, it's not good for the environment. We need to keep the earth for future generations, and it's an obligation that we commit to as a company.
Yeah, I guess a lot of companies are talking about environmental and good for this ocean and good for the skies, but I think at ACCO we take that quite seriously when it comes to these kinds of components. So by providing an extended service interval, we not only provide a better component, a better filter that provides extra protection. The fact that we don't have to dispose of it as often either has a benefit for the environment as well. So it's protecting the engine or protecting whatever component in the tractor. It's extending the life of those components. It's protecting the warranty. It's just too many benefits. Well, how could you not want to buy a genuine filter?
Yeah, we can go on and on. Probably maybe speaking about those counterfeit air filters, as it gets blocked, operators trying to burn more fuel. They think of the exhaust gases that are going into the atmosphere. You can see it, a black smoke going into the sky. But by using genuine air filters, we don't have these things happening, and we're also playing our role in protecting the environment and saving it for future generations.
Yeah, and I think, from a farming point of view, not having to stop your operation, say every 250 hours for a service or an oil change, maybe extending that to 500 hours means you can get more done, more time in the field, less time in the shops, less hours on the job cards, and all those other benefits. And so if you did the math, I don't have the calculator here, on an 8-hour workday, how long would a 250-hour filter last? Somebody,
For a month, it's 31 days.
31 days on 250 hours. So almost every not all tractors work 8 hours a day, but let's say it's a crazy season and there's a lot that needs to get done. That's every 30 days you need to change the filter. Whereas a 500-hour would be 62. You basically get double the time out there.
You only change it once. That's correct.
Yeah, so this was probably one of my favorite episodes. This was very scientific. I kind of like the idea that we cut this open. And if you guys enjoyed this as well, you want to contribute, when have you found a pirate filter ineffective? Or are you one of those farmers that insist on the genuine item? Do like, subscribe, and let's hear from you in the comments. Remember to ring the bell for extra notifications. And if you like what you see on screen, there's a whole series of What's the Case with Massey Ferguson episodes already available on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Did you know we're on Spotify already?
Wow. Okay, I haven't listened to that. Maybe now I can listen to that whilst I'm driving.
Yeah, I must say I'm the YouTube guy. I haven't even watched anything else on any other platform. And we are working our ways towards the Apple podcasts as well. So do look for us out there in the social media realm. Cleverson, this was pretty fun. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Ryan.
This
It's always
great.
a pleasure.
Great stuff.
From the past to future.
So that was it. That's our episode. So do what you want now. They're just playing.
So what's the case now you know?
These are expensive, I
Massey
guess.
Ferguson runs the show.
How was that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was alright. It's
Did you do it again? No.
yeah, there was a change to probably what I had kind of mentally prepared, and what we had to do eventually was